Making my costume for Selene. I know it's been a long time, and I know people normally prefer that you have all of the steps all in one video, but that's just not how I work. And I think showing that this is not how like people actually work, it is important for people to see. So that's why I'm showing it to you this way. Hopefully it'll make someone feel better. Now that the front is dry, I can start working on the back. This is glass jar filler that I'm using. It's not sharp, but it is very rough. Here I'm using some of the lining that I took out of the dress that I thrifted and making a trim piece, a thick braid that's gonna go along the bust of the top. I wanted to say dress, but it's not a dress anymore. Now you can kind of see it starting to come together. This was the other stuff that I already braided and now attached to it. Here's where the top starts to make a little bit more sense and everything finally starts to come together after reusing all of the lining and making this trim, the braiding, as well as this larger braiding is finally finished. And I did a little ruching in the middle. And now you see I did in the middle here, I have the braiding, and you put the larger fabric piece on there to kind of make a layered effect. I've actually been wanting to try this for a while. I think it turned out kind of cool. One of my favorite things about building a costume is decorating it. I thrifted a jar of jewelry a long time ago, and these are just a few one-off pieces and broken pieces of jewelry that I'm using. I did not take apart anything except for one piece, and there wasn't a match, so it didn't really matter. This necklace only originally had the center bead on it, so I added everything else and then started to craft my own beads to add to the rest of the outfit. Here's an example of some tiny detail work that you will probably never notice nor see, because not just because it's tiny, but also because I filmed Selene pretty much in the dark. So you weren't able to see a lot of the beadwork that I took all that time to make. But that's where the mirror shards come in. They reflected the light so beautifully. I wanted it to look like the moon goddess Selene plucked the stars right out of the sky and put them on her outfit, mainly because she could. Around here, we waste absolutely nothing, and Mr. Cheese is a saint for letting me keep a lot. We'll just leave it at a lot of things that probably should be recycled. To be fair, I am technically recycling it or upcycling. Mommy Dearest would be so proud because I took all of the wire hangers out of the closet and I'm using them to make armbands. Technically, all of this is upcycled since I'm using the lining of everything and I made the trim. Also, a good hack, if you can't afford to like get trim pieces and they really do upgrade a piece, learn how to braid. If you can braid, you can make your own trim pieces and it really will take your cosplay or costume to the next level. I actually grew up in a salon, so working on wigs and hair in general is kind of fun for me. When toys weren't available to play with, my hair was. If you've never worked with a synthetic wig before, make sure that your heat is not too hot. And if you're using a curling iron, as soon as you're done curling it, clip it up. Don't let it just fall down. The synthetic fibers need to cool that way in order to retain their shape. I'm not saying it won't curl, but they won't be as tight and they won't stay as well, likely ruining all of your hard work. Another trick to help make your wig look more realistic, especially if you have a lace front, is to put makeup in the part, and not just the part, all of the lace. Trust me, it really does make a difference. One of my favorite things to do when a costume is all finished is to put it close to the living area so that I can look at it. Really appreciate all of the hard work that I put into it. Before any photos are taken, before any videos are taken, just take the time to appreciate all of your hard work.